Hello and welcome. It is the final day of August, and the year is 2019. My name is Derek, and this is the Money Charts channel. Like always, all bets and trades within each his own risk and their own reward. I'm going to start off with Ethereum against Bitcoin, and way back when. You can see 2017 on the bottom of the screen. This is taking me back to about February the 23rd, which was about the approximate date, if not the date, in which I was trading altcoins and cryptos really for the first time. So a lot of times I'll talk about things and markets. Oh, it's just luck that the market hit Fibonacci, or I'll say yeah, it's just luck. Well, it was just luck that it happened to be the time at this level in which I started trading because, well, quite frankly, that was just days before the entire market really got going, which was a run basically from March the 1st through that of about January the 24th of the next year. We can see here around September the 21st of 2016, the price action got up to about against Bitcoin. We'll say the 23 handle, 22.92, and then a little bit higher, and then it goes from the 23 handle down to 730. So a 3x ish decline over this time frame, and then it took a while from the bottom to really get going. As from this level, it had a phenomenally nice rally here on January the 3rd, going from the 795 handle up to 122. That was about a bit better than a 50% move. But then as time wore on, and the green line is where price action is now at the 17.6 handle. And there it went. And something was interesting happening here into March as I was talking with someone via email. I can't remember who it was. And they mentioned to me about something within Ethereum, how it's just going to really take off. And I thought, yeah, I'll buy some. And I accidentally bought 10 times more than I planned on buying. Meaning on the Satoshi number, I had one extra digit on the amount of Satoshis that I tried to buy. Now, thankfully, I didn't notice it until about, it probably would have been somewhere around here. I didn't notice it until like it was up like, I don't know, maybe 12% or 15%, something. And okay, you know what, let's just play with it. And well, obviously, the market went up really well. I mean, I was well out of it. The market, or I took all my profits basically well before the March 24th high. Probably closer, like, now that I can remember, probably in here is where I would have grabbed most of my profits. And as the market goes, it got above this line, and now it just reset it back to where we are now, I think. Yeah. Don't know why it did that, but anyway, it has never been back there since. It kind of worked out because I shown what I wanted to show. Don't know why it did that, though. But anyway. So as we can see currently within Ethereum, and at that 17.4 handle, levels that it hasn't seen, well, since that March 2017 breakout. And then I've shown how long it was down and how much it was down. Well, we can pretty much say about the same sort of thing here as far as decent decline. Now, it's only lost half its value from this May high. But in looking at things via other time frames, 8 hour, really not much more else to say here. But in the daily chart, we talk about this high. Like, this is that low that it hit right here. And there's, well, actually, excuse me, no, that's December 2017. But the January high in here, we can say January 31st, it got up to the 0.11 handle. And now it's at 0.017. So that's, a 5x loss would be 0.55. So we're talking about a 7-8x loss from this high, which is pretty significant. And looking at it on the 3-day chart, again, we're looking at it. This is when it broke out, of course, in the 2017 time frame. Never came back down there as the 2017 lows before the breakout occurred. Okay, so it's been going down pretty much nonstop since this May high. But for most of the markets, it was actually, yeah, just then. It was, well, maybe earlier. Around May the 1st is when the market started to go down. So this rally was individual to Ethereum. And the reason why I say that was because there are the things that I call dartboard rallies. And the dartboard rally is when practically every altcoin at least 80 to 90% of them have significant noticeable gains, and they do so against Bitcoin. And they occurred in 2018. Earlier this year, there was an okay one, I suppose, at the start of the year. They definitely didn't go down. They went up a bit, or they went sideways. But in this one here, the 2017 rally that occurred from here up to here was that of a dartboard rally. This rally here, when I started, from March until into May and June, these markets were rallying really nicely. This one, again, no exception. And in viewing the Bitcoin dominance, we can see in here, so what are some of these? Well, down moves is where you're going to get the dartboard rallies, as that is when the market cap for Bitcoin is significantly lower compared to the rest of it, and then obviously vice versa going higher. Right now, this setup is not stopping. If anything, another leg higher is looking very probable here when we look at the setup. We'll get to that in a little bit. But we can see in here that this top was March 2017, and there is this bottom all the way down to pretty much July. So just choppy volatility from here until this top. And right before December, we can see this was up pretty good. A lot of altcoins were getting destroyed. But they obviously did better than rebuild themselves, because it was very common to see markets losing, maybe during this time frame, to see something lose 50-60% against Bitcoin, 70%, and then over a 1 month period make how many hundreds of percent or how many X gain. That was very, very common. The April 1st rally of 2018 was right in here. That was very noticeable, where everything was going up, but it pretty much started April 1st and ended April 30th. Very creepy, I guess you could say, suppose. And sort of, when I said in January at the start of the year, everything went up or side. Nothing really showed much of a down move. But as the year was ending, we could see this was going down. Altcoins which have been precipitously going down, especially during this run from the end of the April Fool's rally to, well, mainly start of, I was going to say football season, because it kind of was. September 10, we're at that now. But last year at this point, another way of putting it, the decline precipitously stopped. Now, there was altcoins, or Bitcoin had a drop, so it would still go down against the dollar and such. But as we can see, from April the 1st, April the 8th, this thing has managed to get out above and is showing a very, very good bullish setup. On this weekly time frame here in July 29th spot, after 2 red candle downs, and before that, 5 in a row up, with 4 of the 5, if not all of them, good candle moves up, and then 2 good candle moves higher again, and now we got 3 pauses, but the third of the last 2, like, what makes these, let me just try to see if I can show this in a way like this. Yeah, this is what I want to do. So what makes this one different compared to the previous 2? And when we look at this, we can see throughout the whole thing that it's got this uptrend. This level of resistance has been taken out. And also, we've got what looks like a type of breakout-ish type of pattern developing. Okay. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to draw whatever line in here just to determine. It's not where I want to draw it, actually, although we'll be interested to see what happens. I just want to cut off. Maybe I might not be able to do it where I want to. I guess that'll work. I just want to draw a line right in the middle of this, just to show me the differential for when I go to other time frames. Oh, that looks weird. No, I don't want to do it. Okay, so let's just take a look at this on the daily chart and 8-hour, all that stuff. So we have this high in here that occurred August the 9th, and this correctionary phase has been just more than continuously successful. It hasn't even really went below the 18 average of lows for any further bit tests like it did in here, or even just where it pierces below a bit, just stuff like that, not even doing that. Now, since August the 28th, well, first it gets up to the 18 average of highs on August the 26th after spending 3 days on the lows. Stays within that area, although it's a down day here, but it resists the highs. It does not come down the lows. The next day it gets above it and then comes back to the highs. And then we follow that with 3 days showing strength amongst the 18 average of highs, with today being included as one of the three. Okay, so definitely a lot of reason to consider. Okay, this is a lot of strength in here, but the 1 hour time frame I was looking at earlier today, I'm like, wow, this is just like that. It really does show how this thing is poised to continue to have a nice run. And it's had a lot of them recently. We have this high in here, this high in here, this high in here, and we have the possibility of, okay, well, what's the legitimacy of here, of this high here? On August the 28th at 1400 hours. Oh, probably was. So 72, do we see that in the daily? Whatever. Yeah, getting above this high would be where we would think we would take us to next. And getting above it, not surprised. Where would it take us above this level? I don't know how I'd want to calculate, because this the whole locking at 100% really makes things a little difficult. It's because a percentage, and that's not. There's a lot of other parts where you do have 100% caps, but you'd have to think maybe like just a nice move like 75, 76, 77 area if we're going to have a leg higher. Now, in finishing off within this chart, I just want to state that this started going up at the end of July. At least for this run, it started going up then. Now, that run was to August the 9th, and it was this move up here. And this decline here has not, we've seen just the dominance again, just hang in there, and even showing a little bit of strength over again the last few days, while this has been showing weakness. So Bitcoin is dominating as it's going down, so obviously altcoins are going down at a much greater rate, of course, not only throughout this entire run that has been going on, but well, really since the 2018, early 2018 levels, but even since April the 1st, they have been losing at a more precipitous rate. As far as this range is concerned, until, as I've been saying, until it breaks it on either side, 9,400, or this up move, or this area of like 13,000, 14,000, it's in the sideways range. It's at the lower end of the range, and it's spent the majority of the time of this range at the lower end. In fact, lately, there hasn't been any of this resistance test in here, because we had two hits in here, a decent but noticeable pierce below, and then lower high, and then lower high again. So we really got to start to get above some of these lower high levels. And that was something that was a difficult challenge that managed to take a long time from the past, and the past is last year. For if we take this, switch it to the daily, I got this on the Bitstamp. I'm just going to scroll all these periods. And these highs I'm talking about were all of these lower highs. As back in this point in here, you made this high, twice hit, then you have this high, then you have this high, and then we have this high in here in September. And then it got really crazy. Let me just go back before the fall, because it's still precipitously, I say that word a lot, I guess, but it kept on making lower highs while it was keeping the descending triangle with support around 6,000. And it was running out of room. Here we have a lower high at 67.99 or 68. Then we have one at 67.50. And this one was a significantly noticeable to here, but still only 6,500. And then it goes down. So all of those ones I mentioned before, it's got to break those highs. Well, it's broken every one up to this one. That's phenomenal, and it's still held in there relatively nicely. And if it does manage to break this barrier of support, well, now we start talking about filling empty space from this low, which is relatively noticeable to this high, and of course to this level in here, making that of a higher low. Yeah, you can come down in here. Of course, the big, well, more likely area, if it does break down, is in here. If we do bottom at around 8,000, I would guess that would be some sort of failed move like this, and just re-enter it fast. If it's going to break below this support, I would have to think it's going to be either one of those two things. It's not going to be a holding breakdown, thus a failed breakdown that would later, it's very soon later after that, get back into its congestion above the 93, 9200 mark, or at least go down and test this level of support. It's both bullish and bearish to come down to here. And I say that a lot, both bullish and bearish for something to happen. Obviously, if we're going down, it has to be bearish to at least go down there, then there, and so on. But if it's bullish, to come down here, find your higher low support, then come back in here, maybe make just a shorter term levels of support and then break it. Those are most certainly possibilities. But if we don't even test that, again, if we go back to the upper range, then it's not like we need to have a break below there. We've had a phenomenally decent correction as it is since it's, well, just for the entire summer, really. And now we got about 3 weeks until the summer comes to a conclusion and we enter the autumn season. All right, so yeah, there's really not much more else to say upon that situation. Again, I've been mentioning how altcoins haven't been doing well, and a lot of it does go back to how it was in 2016, even 2015 in here. Now, the big difference here was Bitcoin was going up. But the interesting situation and Bitcoin might do the same thing because it's been going up since here, but I mean, we're talking about altcoins not doing well. So in here to about here. During this run, altcoins were doing very, very bad against Bitcoin. And this was a significant period of time. For it was pretty much all of 2016 and then a portion of 2015 and 2017. And it's been a long time as it is now, as it has been pretty much the entirety of 2018 and more than half of the year of 2019, where altcoins have had, again, just one good rally, which was April 1st to April 30th of 2018, and that now is well over a year ago. And do it anytime? Well, obviously, if the altcoins work out in cryptos, then yeah. But that's part of the big risk reward, because if they do well, the amount of gain possibilities is fantastic, fabulous. But of course, the ultimate risk is that we're holding cryptos that are, well, you can say that they're tangible, that you can hold them. You don't have, I mean, when you think about holding them, when you're pushing things with a mouse and you're using your hands that way, and then you're holding, you take your private keys, you have them in there, you put them in a safe, that defines tangibility to me. And of course, working within the blockchain systems, that's all pretty cool and everything. But the difference with stuff like gold and silver is you're talking about an element on the periodic table, an atomic element, and something that has value. We're talking about salt. Well, you put salt on food, and that's just an actual real use case commodity. That's what overall does concern me about cryptos, is the fact that, I mean, how good are they really overall? Bitcoin and every single one. And then you say, well, it's got Bitcoin is good because it's a ledger based, the whole thing. It's like a working system, and you pay for stuff like that. Okay, is it worth that much though? And just throwing all those things aside, I do realize that people are understanding how fiat currencies are made, how they're backed by pretty much nothing. But then so are these. But I do realize that people are getting into them. And at least I suppose that they're going to at least continue on to do so for the next several months. And within it, that's why I want to be trading the cryptocurrencies. And then, of course, using them to be able to do things like accumulate precious metals. But during the last time, if you were trading it, you would have seen, say from October 2015 until then, you would have seen maybe Bitcoin go up from 300 up to like 900. So you would have had your value of Bitcoin triple, but you might have seen your value in altcoins go down more than 3 times, and yet, oh, I started with $1,000, I still got $1,000, or I got 800. Stuff like that would have been common. Because I could put up a chart like Qtum at all-time lows against Bitcoin. This thing came out at almost 500,000 Satoshi, now at 21,000. So it has lost about 20 20 plus times its value. It's been going down, really, I gotta say that word again. But yeah, January 2018, continuous down. What did it do in its April Fool's rally? Well, it started early because it started on March the 14th and it ended April 28th. Not the biggest of one, but that's what that one is. And just continuously, I mean, straight waterfall down, long sideways consolidation with some up and down movements. But that's what I mentioned before when we came to the September point, that a lot of the altcoins would either go up a bit or just go sideways. And then here we have, oh, March 29th, April 1st. Oh, yeah, that's when Bitcoin started its major breakout, and then all the coins have been going down since. And it could keep on going down to this whole nothing period, and maybe some of them will, the trash ones, the shit coins, stuff like that. And if they're good, or if they end up working it for like we've seen before in the past, we've seen massive rallies. The 2017 one here, seen this go from 65,000 to the close to half, I guess we'll call it 450,000. Okay, that's well, 10x would have been 650. It didn't get there. 5x would have been 325, so it got above that 7.5x gain in only a month. And this didn't participate, of course, into the rally of 2017 from March up and for 2, 3, 4 months because of when it started. And I'm going to finish it off with Theta, which seems to be doing much, much better than practically almost, I'm not going to say everyone, but practically. I mean, there's other ones like Chainlink that are just killing it as well, too. But we have, in fact, Chainlink is literally killing. This was just holding in there more than anything. It's around 12 cents more times than not, probably 11 cents now. I don't know. Well, actually, I'm 11.8 would be about 11.7, 11.5 cents. I do know because I can just because I know Bitcoin's a little under 10,000. So, and this is 11.8 handle. With that being said, it's had phenomenal moves. As far as the April 1st, where's April 1st on here? April 1st was right in here. So it's went down like a lot of the other ones, but it had this phenomenal gain before, had this phenomenal move as well. And over the last, just the last little bit here, it's hanging in there going sideways, which is almost, compared to the other altcoins, kind of going up. At least when you consider grading against the curve, it's doing fantastic. Because grading against the curve means when everything's doing really, really bad like this, that if you're just going sideways, that's like an A grade. And then when you grade against the curve when they go up, you could have markets on average go up 9, 8 times over a period, and something might only go up 100 or 100%. We'll say, yeah, I was going to say only go up like 2x or 100%, and it gets a D grade kind of deal because you're grading against the curve. And anyway, that's just like all whatever. But yeah, a lot of things going down. There's Tron now at levels, at least on the Binance exchange, going back to its breakout here, December 12th area, 2017, so almost 2-year lows. Looking at the Stratus coin, it's at opening levels, and opening levels are 2016 in here. Now during the run when most coins were going down, Stratus was doing good here as it managed to make it to this high in here. And then it started going at this point here, which is kind of interesting because is Stratus on Poloniex? How did I not like this too much back on February 2018 or 2017? Maybe because I didn't have as much data. Because I remember looking at that makes sense because it was just a new chart and it was. See, if I would have known the Bittrex data, I probably would have been really bullish on this back then. Because some coins had runs like this that were really early, and some of them got going really early. I think Dash was the one that back then that got going really early. And I'll bring that up now. And of course, it's at levels not seen since, well, I'm not going to count this low, but it's pretty much even getting below there. Well, a long time. This thing from this high here, which is April the 1st, yada, yada, yada. So this is a dartboard sell-off, you could almost call it now, from April the 1st. 266 down to 82. So that's more than a 3x decline. And just from this high, let alone the decline from that level up there. So here we are at levels last seen in February of 2016 in this area. So it's gone down quite a bit. It already went down below these lows. And yeah, this was an early gainer because we can see this was December 2016. This thing was going down from August here down to here. And then a phenomenal move that occurred. And that's the whole thing that can happen. These things can go up so fast. This went up to, well, basically the 10 handle up to, well, 12 on the other direction. This is a 12 plus X gain. Doing so from, we'll basically say the start of 2017 to March, and middle of March 2017. This was an early topper as well as an early rallier, because most of these coins topped right around June, end of May, into May, June. Definitely by June though. And we can see in here that, yeah, it came back up to, this stayed within this relative range where all the things were going up, and just kept a lot of this choppy action. Had huge support in here, but of course this high, we can see December 2017, a little early because altcoins had good January rallies, but still same time point. And how much rallying have we had? Oh, this failed break it, which was the April Fool's rally. It had, and then we had this most recent one here, if you call it much of one. February, where this thing had this move up to here, and then of course per clunk, which a lot of the coins have been doing. Litecoin, well, unlike Dash, it's unlike most other coins, it is above these 2017 breakout levels, but it is now falling down to that point, and really at areas hardly ever seen since then, because they had this small pierce before the big rally in 2017, and it almost came down there, but we've already broken through these previous lows in here. And in 2017, this thing, I mean, it got going for huge gains as it managed to have fast moves. These things can happen again, and there's been so many of them within Litecoin in the past. There was this move. I mean, this isn't much of a move. I don't want to count that, but this move in here. But even within it, this move in here was pretty good. This move in here, we've had this move in here with a little bit of a failed move in here. And when they go up, they're going to go up fast. And that is how it's been, how history is going to play out. And whether we bottom from here, whether we bottom from whatever there, time again will only tell. Whether we come down and test and even succeed at a test of the end of the the 2017 lows, which would be a decline of more than 50% of where we stand just now. Alright then, that'll be it for today's video. So unless something fantastic happens within the markets, and they are so boring right now, as far as not much going on, not much volatility for me to trade. I don't want to add any more altcoins really, until, at least from Bitcoin, until I get like a significant, and if it happens even, I'm going to add more. If it breaks past 72.46 and like that 76 or whatever, then I'll look and add more. And I thought about earlier today, why don't I just buy a bit more? No. Just wait for a break of this resistance, yada, yada, yada. You know all that. Until then, I'm just going to do whatever. I've made like 3 ratio or 4 ratio trades in the last 40 or 50 hours. Not much going on for me right now. And thank you for tuning in to the video, and have yourself a great day. Bye-bye.